Hello channel viewers, I am DS, a psychologist, and welcome to another episode on Channel NITT. So many people hold this belief that the ENTJ is a cold and heartless person. So in this episode, I am going to address this issue, why this is the case, and whether this is really the case. Before we start, we have to go back to an issue that we have discussed before in one of our previous episodes, and that is categorization. The ENTJ is one of the rare MBTI types that actually categorize people into mental boxes. I believe that different ENTJs will have different ways of categorizing people into tiers. So in one of my previous episodes, I explained about how I categorize people. I categorize people into 5 different tiers. So tier 5 consists of the majority of the people that I know of. I don't consider them close to me at all, even if they might consider me close. So these are the people that I don't want to have much dealing with. I just regard them as acquaintances. So as you move inwards towards tier number 1, that would be people that I feel very dear with and I want to share most of myself with this person. That is in tier 1. The distribution of people in the tiers are not even at all. So a lot of people end up in the outer tiers. Very few people can actually get into the inner tiers, 1 or 2. Personally, I would only share most of myself with people in tier 1 or tier 2.
These tears will get me through.
So my close friends and my lover would be in tier 1 and tier 2, definitely. They will get to see who I really am. However, people on the outermost tiers, they will tend not to see me as who I am because I do not want to disclose that part of myself to them. In fact, if I classify you as a tier 5 individual, I don't even want to let you know more about myself because I have built a barrier between myself and you. So if I have decided that I only want you as an acquaintance, the information that I share about myself with you will be very limited. So if you ask me, where do you stay? I will just tell you very generically, West. I think this is one of the reasons why a lot of people think that the ENTJ is very unapproachable. For me, a lot of individuals will stay on the outer layers for a very long time. So they will definitely find that I am a very aloof person. However, this does not mean that the person cannot advance from the outer layers into the inner tiers. But this is exceptionally rare. It has happened before. There were a lot of times where people in the outer layers try to come too close to me for my own comfort. And I start to howl back or I have a huge reaction. So just to give you an example, in my class, I have some busybody students. They have asked me this question. Oh, do you have children? Are you married? That kind of questions.
No! Mind your own business! No!
So these questions are really very personal to me. I would only disclose this kind of information to people who are very close with me. And definitely the ENTJ is not going to entertain busybodies with this kind of questions. So generally I would ignore these questions. I would just go on and conduct my classes. There was once I actually lost it because the student kept asking and asking. So you know what I did? I told him this. Why are you so caught up with asking these kind of questions? Do you think these questions are good questions to ask? What if I am a person who has just gone through a divorce? You ask me about my children. What if my child has died at 2 years old because of a heart problem? Are you triggering my hurt once again? Why must you do this to a person? Do you think everybody has a good life like yours? I think this is a very powerful speech because I cut it once and for all, and I also caused and instilled fear in that particular student. Anyway, what I said is true. A person could really have a lot of hurt. What you are doing out of your sheer curiosity could have hurt the person once again. Why do that? Nonetheless, I don't have this kind of hurt at all. I just find this question very invasive, that's all. Now that we have established the concept of tiers and categorization of people, this is a good time to talk about the cold-bloodedness of the ENTJ. An ENTJ is very cold-blooded when it comes to relegation. What does relegation mean? Relegation means that you were originally in the inner tiers, but because of something that you did, you got banished out. So you could be banished out beyond tier 5. So if anyone gets banished from the inner tiers or even the outer tiers, they are no longer categorized. What this means is that you have now become a stranger. So you could have been a really very close friend in the past. However, if you have done something to betray me, or I have lost my trust with you, then you no longer become a friend. So if I see you on the street, I will just walk past. If I see you at a party, I pretend that I do not know you. If you come and approach me to talk, I will be very cold. So it becomes more obvious because we were once close. You were once in the inner tiers. But once you are out, you're out.
'Cause I don't know you anymore.
So there comes, I want to explain something very disgusting about the ENTJ. So if you have dated an ENTJ before, you might have this experience. When an ENTJ is dating you, you are definitely in the inner tiers. He shares a lot with you. However, one day, if you decide that this ENTJ is not suitable for you, then you text this ENTJ and say that, okay, I've been thinking about us. Don't think we are suitable for each other. Maybe we should remain as friends. Something like that. Guess what? The ENTJ does not reply at all. So why is this the case? It's not that the ENTJ is rude. The ENTJ has, because of your message, totally banished you out from tier 2 to 0. So according to the ENTJ, if you are no longer interested, why should I bother? I don't even want to waste a second typing okay. You are not worth the effort. So while dating, we could have a lot of happy times together, but if you have given this kind of a text, the ENTJ wouldn't bother to ask you for a reason. They will just accept it and then you are banished. So of course, if you want a closure from the ENTJ, it's unlikely that the ENTJ is going to give you one. And I understand that you want to call the ENTJ a jerk. Call us whatever you want, we aren't bothered at all. So simple as that, if you don't need us, we'll wipe you off. So ENTJs have grown very numb to human relationships. They don't expect much from another human being. So if you do get relegated, note that there's no coming back. The ENTJ will not ever get close back with you again. It's very rare, unless it's a romantic relationship. I don't remember having patched back with any of my friends. Never. If they are out, out. So in that sense, yes, you're right. The ENTJ is very cold and heartless. But I would say that this is a way we protect ourselves for efficiency as well. Because if you have done it once, probably you will do it again. So to save us the trouble, you are out. We can survive on our own. Sometimes relegation need not happen because you did something to us. It could happen because it happened naturally. So previously I was teaching in a school, so I have been very close with my students. So year by year, my students graduate, and then when they come back, I no longer feel close to them. So these students can come back on Teachers' Day and tell me that I am one of their most favorite teachers. What? I don't feel anything anymore. The emotion is gone. So unconsciously or subconsciously, the students have moved from category 3 maybe out to category 5, becoming people that I know of. Is that right? Because introverted feeling is the inferior function of the ENTJ, the ENTJ really sometimes does not want to deal with emotions at all. Emotions are a rare resource. But introverted feelings, FI, has also got to do with values. Given that FI is our inferior function, this means that our sense of values may actually not be very mature. So it is very possible that an ENTJ may not have much integrity sometimes. So this is why it is very possible for an ENTJ to be ruthless, stepping on others to climb up. But when I think about personal values for myself, I think sometimes I also do have really immature values when it comes to social relationships. So personally, this ENTJ has one twisted social principle. And the principle is actually very naively simple. It is, if you are a friend or a lover, I expect you to be on my side. If you are no longer on my side, then you are not my friend or lover. And when you get relegated, the immature thing that I do is I negate all that you have done in the past for me. You may have done a lot of things for me, it will be forgotten because you have chosen now not to be on my side. So relegated totally. All the contributions that you have made will be forgotten. I will not take them into account because I expect you to be there with me all the way until we perish. So yes, if you think about it, it's very immature FI thinking. Okay, I hope that this episode has given you a lot of insight into the ENTJ's internal world of how we actually act in such a heartless and cold way. It is the fact that our brain is programmed that way. If you ask me, when did I start to have this kind of categorization in my brain? I also can't tell. It happens to be a subconscious process. But I remember when I was younger, I was not like this. I was open to everybody. But in my early 20s, I start to close in response to what I have received from the people around me. And so far, this has served me well. So there's a lot of give and take. The good side about being an ENTJ is that we are very effective and efficient. However, it is very possible that an ENTJ can lead a very lonely life with very little friends. Okay viewers, if you have any suggestion what we could do for our next video, please comment below. If you have not subscribed, do consider subscribing so that we can bring you more ENTJ, MBTI, psychology and fun stuff. Okay, we're gonna sign off now and we'll see you in our next episode. Goodbye!